Welcome to Screen It or Stream It,
where we take a look at a movie that's in theaters now
versus one you can stream at home,
and we try to decide which one should you go with. This week on Screen It or Stream It, we're doing our very first fan-recommended review. It was suggested that we watch and review King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, so we checked it out. It should be noted that I had very low expectations for this one, mainly due to the previews. Having watched it, I think they did it a disservice.
How do you mean?
I'm glad you asked. Any King Arthur story is going to have some things in common. This one went in a somewhat different direction than any I have previously seen. Merlin, while mentioned several times, is never seen in this film. Mordred is a mage, not King Arthur's illegitimate son, and Uther and Arthur's mother are king and queen. Basically, they took all of the scandals out of this version in favor of different scandals, spectacle, and a good amount of violence.
And we like violence.
It's the story of Arthur, the rightful heir to the throne of Camelot, who ends up raised in a brothel, not having any knowledge of his true lineage. In this version, Excalibur was forged by Merlin to help the men fight off a race of mages led by Mordred. The magical sword was given to Uther, who used its awesome power in quite a spectacular way. After that war ends is where this story begins. Arthur grows up streetwise, and he learns to fight from some Chinese dudes that have a monastery in his village.
Thought it was set in England.
Don't ask questions. Why is there a Chinese monastery in England? You got me, but just go with it.
Okay.
When the king, who stole the throne, sees that the lake where Excalibur had been hidden was drained, he lines up all the men of the realm to try to pull the sword from the stone. When Arthur finally goes, he does pull the sword. The king goes to have him executed, and then a mysterious young female mage, along with several warriors who had been loyal to Arthur's father, rescue the one true king. The story goes from there, and I am already talking way too much. In short, he doesn't want to be king, but begrudgingly accepts his fate so he can avenge his parents. The story takes itself surprisingly seriously, but has a bit of well-fitting, humorous moments to keep it light. They also go over the top on battles and fights with some Matrix-like slow motion for good measure.
For our streaming comparison this week, we chose The Lord of the Rings.
Oh! That cartoon was kind of strange.
No, the Peter Jackson movie trilogy.
Oh!
It's kind of complicated to sum up the entire thing briefly, but here's an attempt.
I can't wait.
It begins with the forging of magical rings, one of which has the power to control the others. Naturally, an evil wizard, for lack of a better word, binds his life force into the One Ring, and uses his awesome power to cause mayhem and take over the world. Everyone bands together to defeat him, and those all-powerful One Ring is lost. That's where our story begins. The One Ring is found 2,000 years later and ends up in the possession of Frodo Baggins, a young man who has no idea what he's gotten himself into. It's when he's visited by a wizard named Gandalf that he learns the secret history of the magical ring. This begins a quest to destroy it.
Ooh, I love quests!
Anyways, along the way, friends are picked up to help, most notably Aragorn, a person of seemingly little importance who happens to be one of the last descendants of the kings of Gondor. He has no aspirations to claim his rightful throne, but the adventure continues. Gandalf pulls some strings and puts Aragorn on a path to be king.
Wait, I thought he was trying to claim his throne.
That was in the book, we're talking movies here.
Gotcha.
So, we got a ring, a Dark Lord who will return if the ring isn't destroyed, our heroes, Frodo and Aragorn, who are trying to stop him, change politics, and basically keep everyone living in peace. Along the way, there is a good bit of violence, and we like violence. It starts off small, but it ends up with these epic battles of hundreds of thousands of soldiers sieging cities and spelling certain doom for all mankind.
Wow! You left so much out of that synopsis.
Do you want to do it?
No.
Okay then. There are some light moments that ease the tension, but The Lord of the Rings is very dramatic. It's a sweeping epic of a tale. The special effects are all top-notch, and there is a ton of star power to go along with the likes of Ian McKellen, Hugo Weaving, Elijah Wood, Christopher Lee, Ian Holm, Orlando Bloom, Kate Blanchett, Sean Bean, Viggo Mortensen, Jonathan Rhys-Davies.
Get on with it!
Like I said, small few. Also, the production values, from costuming to makeup to everything really, is just done incredibly well.
Okay, so it sounds like we've got two epic tales today. We have a reluctant rightful heir,
Powerful magical artifacts, be they, good or evil.
Interference from wizards who are trying to help out and shape the destiny of mankind.
Epic sweeping battles.
A lovely leading lady. Wait, actually, there really were no side romance stories in King Arthur Legend of the Sword at all.
There were several in The Lord of the Rings, mostly involving Aragorn.
He's a player.
Okay.
Fine. Of those two, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, is told a little less traditionally in the style of editing. They give a lot of information non-linearly. It's not my favorite way to get stories, but in this case, it was the way they revealed more about a situation you thought you understood. I think maybe they were trying to be edgy. Get it? Edgy? Because it's about a sword?
No.
Sorry.
I'm actually disappointed in you for that one.
Yeah, usually my wit's a lot sharper.
Oh, please stop.
Well, shall we move on to the star ratings then?
Oh, yes, please. Anything else?
For King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, this was a tough one. I know I'd watch it again. We finally decided on 3 stars.
And for The Lord of the Rings, 5 stars.
So, we have talked about the similarities and differences, the good, the bad, the ugly. Which of these epic tales will come out on top?
Our pick this week, taking all things into consideration, stream it. It may have been an unfair comparison just because The Lord of the Rings is so well done. There's so many great performances from so many great actors, amazing camera work, flawless special effects. It's just all around a fantastic piece of cinema.
I agree. Absolutely, if you've seen neither, The Lord of the Rings is the way to go. But if you've already seen that, you might give King Arthur Legend of the Sword a try. I agree that The Lord of the Rings is superior in every way, but this version of King Arthur is fun, and I'd say it's worth a watch. It also has a lot of great performances, and the production values are really all around pretty high.
Well, that's it. That's all of our time for this week.
Thanks for tuning in to Screen It or Stream It.
And remember, don't take your kids to the movies on Tuesday nights because that's when we go.